Dạ, lên mình lấy bông mình để cho từng 3 cái bông mình để từng mỗi 3 bông.
Mang mấy cái bông để mà tưởng niệm mấy con heo, con bò, con gà chết vì loài người.
To bring them into our minds and into our hearts. And we will keep doing this until all animals are free from enslavement and their rights are protected by law. I would like to introduce Rebecca, as she's going to come up to the mic and she's going to read the stories of some of these animals. Rebecca is a dedicated animal rights activist. Her and her daughter Samantha have been attending multiple actions advocating for the animals over the past year. So Rebecca, if you could please come up.
Hello, good afternoon. I would like to share with you a bit about the life of this beautiful friend, Sage. Sage is a very young pig who was brought into this world in one of the most cruel industries on this planet, an industry that has normalized and hidden multiple atrocities like forced insemination, extreme confinement, including the form of gestation crates. A gestation crate is where the mother is trapped and able to even turn around for most of her life. Extreme mutilation in the form of tail and teeth removal without anesthesia, and many other atrocities that are hidden from view in animal agriculture industries. On average, the lifespan of a healthy pig is 15 to 20 years. However, Sage was not so lucky. At just 3 weeks old, she had already lost all her siblings. One of her siblings she witnessed being slammed against the wall in a common practice used in the industry called thumping. Because Sage's baby sister was born too small and deemed unusable by the pig flesh industry, she was slammed against the floor and killed by forced trauma and put into the trash. Her life was discarded. Sage not only lived through this atrocity, but at the same time witnessed it while being covered in blood, feces, and urine, but also all while spending every minute of these 3 weeks on a metal slatted floor where sometimes her legs could not even stand. She was ripped away from this horror and taken to what is called a nursery. But do not let this term make you think of soft music or gentle hands. This nursery was banging metal, screams of pain and suffering, and more hard metal floors. Sage spent 7 weeks here. We would like to think that Sage's life took a turn for the better, but it only got worse. At this point in her life, she was still small and was moved into group housing that was nothing but a cage of her peers with no softness. Again, she was on hard metal floors covered in urine, feces, and blood. Food and water were plenty, even though her environment was pure hell. At this point, Sage's body was too weak and she passed away. For the remaining baby pigs, there came a day where there was no food or water, and they cried out in absolute pain and suffering, but instead of food, Sage's peers and siblings were forced with prods into a loud metal box. At just 6 months old, scared and beaten, they barely had room to stand, and it was so cold they were shivering and in pain. They were slammed around and trampled and starved for 2 days in the back of a transport truck. When the truck arrived at the slaughterhouse, all of the pigs in Sage's cohort were gassed with CO2 for 4 excruciating minutes, burning from the inside out, and then their throats were slit. These 6-month-old babies had their bodies beaten and battered after living a life of hell, so that a human could have 15 minutes of pleasure. However, today we can honor this sweet soul in her wholeness and give her the only bit of kindness that she and none of her siblings ever received in life. Today, we not only mourn the loss of Sage, but all of her pig peers around the world who in this moment are suffering and crying to be saved. But no one hears their cries and no one is helping them. We see you, we see your suffering and mourn your loss. We are crying and trying. Fly free, sweet Sage. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Now I would like to introduce Valerie, and she's going to read a poem that's dedicated to the animals. Valerie is an intersectional activist who advocates for animals, as well as against any sort of oppression, including women's rights and gay rights.
In honor of non-human animals, for National Animal Rights Day, June 4th, 2023, we, who are members of the human race, are blessed to share life with souls in scales or fur or skin or shells. Their forms are varied. Teach your children love and kindness to all beings always. Remember how like us they are inside. Their feelings matter. We stand for animals' rights. They depend on us to fight. So we strive in every way to show we love them. Respect we all demand for all who share our earthly planet. And so, please join us in our pledge to liberate the ones in bondage. Teach your children love and kindness to all beings always. Remember how like us they are inside. Their feelings matter. We stand for animals' rights. They depend on us to fight. So we strive in every way to show we love them.
Kendall and Phoenix the chickens. Kendall and Phoenix were two beautiful red feathered chickens that lived in a factory farm in California. Their home was a giant overcrowded shed where they were packed in by the thousands and forced to live in their own feces. As a product of the accumulation of feces, the unbreathable air full of ammonia burned their throats and gave them respiratory illnesses. Many of their young friends in the factory died because of this. Many of them also collapsed due to heart failure, attributed to genetic manipulation because their baby heart cannot keep up with their adult-sized bodies. Kendall and Phoenix somehow managed to live through these hellish conditions, but after being only 6 weeks of age, during the darkness of the night, they were cornered and caught by the workers. They were stuffed into a crate. They could barely move or breathe. They were really scared, not knowing what was about to happen to them, and there was no one that could come and help them. These babies were facing their last moments of existence in a total absence of compassion and love. Instead, they were about to confront the most savage behavior a human can commit against another living being. Humans only perceive them as flesh and as thigh, a drumstick, a breast, or a wing. But we know chickens are playful, affectionate, and extremely smart. They develop strong bonds with other members of their family and community. Kendall and Phoenix had their precious life taken from them. They were not afforded the opportunity to grow up and mature, to have a family, and to dust their wings and play with their friends. They were only in this world for barely a couple of months. Their life was cut short, yet riddled with pain and suffering. They didn't survive the journey to the slaughterhouse. In fact, many animals crumble and die on their way to be killed. They are no exception because, like Kendall and Phoenix, many chickens cannot endure the hardships of broken legs and wings, laceration, hemorrhage, dehydration, heat stroke, hypothermia, and heart failure while they are being transported to the slaughterhouse. These two angels, Kendall and Phoenix, are now free from the horrors of the factory farms. Their spirits today are surrounded by the love and compassion of every one of you. Please send them your intentions and deep affection to these beautiful souls. We are here for you. We are here for all animals today. We are sorry we couldn't save you. We're sorry that we as humans have betrayed all animals on this planet. But we promise we will keep fighting for all animals until everyone is free, because this is our planet, theirs too. We are going to have Rachel. She is the co-organizer of this event, and she has organized multiple actions within DXE and PETA, mostly. She is the founder of the local nonprofit animal rights organization, Kind Heart Coalition.
The earth hungers for blood. There's a riot in us.
We are fighting a mass system of oppression against the human and non-human animals that inhabit this planet. Less than 4% of the animals on the planet live free from human exploitation. This means that 96% of the animals on this planet are forced to be subservient or exploited by humans. We see more and more vegan foods, festivals, TV shows, which is great if all you care about is yourself and your own comfort. We see more plant-based vegan foods on shelves, but what you don't see are the subsidies keeping the animal agriculture industry thriving. Our government uses our tax dollars to fund animal torture, abuse, and murder. If you look at the numbers, it's all smoke and mirrors. Animal agriculture is actually growing faster than our population. We are not voluntarily shown these numbers, but why? It is to keep our focus away from the real tragedies happening to the human and non-human animals locked behind closed doors and sometimes right in front of us. They want you to keep your eyes on your convenience and self. while they kill and profit at the expense of others' suffering and death, including right here in our own backyard. Within just a few hours' drive from here, I once sat with a baby calf who is trapped in a small wooden box. He could not stand on his own and suckled on my hand in desperate need of nourishment and love. There were rows and rows, hundreds and hundreds of babies who were stolen from their mothers who were crying for their children mere feet away. In San Diego, most of us pass by daily one of the largest exploiters of marine animals. At SeaWorld San Diego, over 20,000 individuals who should be swimming hundreds of miles a day are trapped in pools for humans to poke and prod for what we call entertainment. Mother pigs trapped in gestation crates is not a myth. I will never forget looking into the fear of the eyes of a mother pig trapped in one of these crates. A mother who had tried to turn around in this hellish cage, and her head was caught in a tiny section about halfway back. With her attempt to turn around and get some relief, she became trapped and terrified and was screaming. Thanks to our investigation team, we were able to move her head back so she was not stuck with her body twisted in this crate the industry wants to deem as humane. In San Diego City and County, there are hundreds of labs full of mice, rats, rabbits, dogs, cats, monkeys, and many, many more individuals from a variety of species being experimented on. Tortured animals are behind security doors so tight that limited people have access to them. Why do we hide torture? It's all for profits. There are housing facilities just a short drive from here where I have seen rabbits trapped in tiny cages with nothing but a small square piece of wood tossed in them for them to be compliant. This allows these facilities to say that these rabbits have something to stand on, but in reality, their nails and feet are falling through the thin wire their whole lives as they're having fluids drained from their bodies. California has over 200 so-called farms that house over 16 billion chickens who are exploited. I cohabitate with one lucky hen named Yolanda. I pulled Yolanda out of a trash can on an egg farm. She was thrown away, discarded as trash, when she simply needed nutrition, hydration, and antibiotics for a wound that was under her wing. She is now celebrating her 4th year of liberation thanks to my team who helped pull her out. Several of my activist friends have also pulled living animals, victims, out of trash cans and dead piles. Some of these animals have been able to live their lives. Others were so physically destroyed from the short, hellish life that they lived that they could not be nursed back to health. Destroyed by humans, and all for what? 15 minutes of human salivary pleasure? I cannot unsee what I have seen. I cannot and will not ever stay silent while my animal friends are suffering immensely. We must no longer stay silent. We must no longer sit by as innocent beings are forced into captivity, trapped in cages, made to give birth, exploited, and murdered. We will rise up. We will vote. We will speak up. We will lock down. We will disrupt. We will whistleblow until what is hidden from view is known and is seen, and action is taken to liberate all animals. We will not stand by as innocent beings suffer and die. I urge you to use your voice, use your body, and take action for those suffering. Because what trillions of animals on this planet are experiencing in this moment makes your worst nightmare seem like heaven. Do not stay silent so that others are comfortable. Speak up for these victims. It is the least you can do. Get active, get involved, and join animal rights organizations as we all fight the systemic oppression of our fellow earthlings. We all, from the smallest ant to the largest whale, every earthling deserves the right to live and thrive on this planet.
Thank you. Thank you for your words, Rach. Now I would like to introduce Ellen. She's going to read the Declaration of Animal Rights. Ellen is a long-term activist who has been protesting for over 3 decades against the oppression of animals. She organizes protests against SeaWorld, Del Mar horse racing, and the downtown fish market, Lakeside Rodeo, and many more. Here's Ellen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will read the Declaration of Animal Rights. which is being read in 100 cities worldwide today. Since the dawn of humanity, there remains a group so persistently abused and marginalized that their suffering is ingrained in our lives every day. If animals could freely talk, their chorus of cries will drown out every other sound in the world. We are all animals. We are all living, breathing beings who share the same earth. We all feel pain and suffer when we are hurt and deprived of our lives, our families, and our freedoms. We all have the right to experience kindness, compassion, and dignity. We believe in the kinship of all beings and the possibility for us to coexist in peace and harmony on planet Earth. Considering that all living beings on planet Earth came originally from the same source and follow the same evolutional principles. Considering that all living beings on planet Earth inhabit the same, considering that all beings possess the same basic needs to survive, to seek happiness, pleasure, and to avoid pain, to live comfortably, to procreate, create families and social structures. Considering that all living beings, as known to humankind, are sentient beings and therefore can feel pain, pleasure, sensations, emotions, and feelings. Considering that the human species is only one of millions of animal species that compromises a minute minority in number compared to the billions of animals living on the planet. We hereby proclaim that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all beings are created equal and have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Therefore, all animals have the same natural right to exist or any other living being. All animals have the right to live free, to live their lives on their own terms as intended by nature. All animals have the right to eat and sleep, to be physically and psychologically comfortable, be mobile, healthy, safe, and fulfill all their natural and essential needs. As such, all animals are to be free from hunger, thirst, and malnutrition, physical discomfort and exhaustion, confinement, against their will, bad treatment, abusive or cruel actions, pain, injury, disease, fear, and distress, and free to express their normal patterns of behavior. All animals have the right to reproduce, live with their offspring, families, tribes, or communities, and maintain a natural social life. They have the right to live in their natural environment, grow to a rhythm natural to their species, and maintain a life that corresponds to their natural longevity. Animals are not the property or commodity of humans and are not theirs for us to use their behalf or sustenance. Therefore, they are free from slavery, exploitation, oppression, victimization, brutality, abuse, and any other treatment that disrespects their safety, own free will, and dignity. They should not be slaughtered for food, killed for skins, experimented on, killed for religious purposes, used for forced labor, abused and killed for sport and entertainment, abused for commercial profit, hunted, persecuted, or exterminated for human pleasure, need, or other ends. Humans shall do whatever is within their means to protect all animals, any animal who is dependent on a human and has the right to proper sustenance and care, and shall not be neglected, abandoned, or killed. Animals who have died must be treated with respect and dignity, as humans are. We call for the protection of these rights. They must be recognized and be defended by law, as human rights are. Any act which compromises the well-being or survival of the species Rights listed above should be deemed a crime and should be punished accordingly. In witness thereof of this declaration is hereby signed today, June 4th, 2023, the National Animal Rights Day in the city of San Diego, California. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. In a moment, we are going to invite everybody to come up and actually sign the Animal Declaration of Independence. But before that, I would like to close out the ceremony by us all joining together in song. Over here. This is just a simple call, you'll just repeat each line that I sing, and I'm sure that I've sung this song with many of you before. Come closer. I will come closer. I will come closer. When you're in pain. When
You're in pain.
I will be with you.
I will be with you.
When you're afraid.
When you're afraid.
I will walk for you.
I will walk for you.
All through the night.
All through the night.
And if you need me.
And if you need me,
I will fight.
I will fight.
I will come closer.
I will come closer.
When you're in pain.
When you're in pain.
I will be with you.
I will be with you.
When you're afraid.
When you're afraid.
I will walk for you. All through the night. And if you need me.
And if you need me,
I will fight.
I will fight.
And if you need me.
If you need me,
I will fight.
I will fight.
Thank you all so very much for coming here today. I would like to invite everybody to come up and use one of the markers here to sign the Animal Rights Declaration, the Declaration of Animal Rights. So please come forward and we'll sign it all together. Oh, and also we can sign this here on the paper, but also if you scan the QR code, then that will go into the Declaration of Animal Rights that's being signed all around the country and all around the world. Please come up, you're more than welcome.